Welcome. You have reached review time with Imperial, and today's review will be Ricky Stanicky. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let's get into it. So, Ricky Stanicky is a Prime Video original starring John Cena and Zac Efron. Fun fact about this movie, and it's was put out there that this movie actually was originally supposed to be starring James Franco, and this is like over 10 years ago. It was put on shelf, and then he didn't want to do the role no more, and so now it bubbled up. John Cena took it, and here we are. So let's get over the cast. Zac Efron as Dean, Jermaine Fowler as Wes, Andrew Santino as JT, Lex Scott Davis as Aaron, Anja Savick as Susan, Jeff Ross as Robbie Greenberg, William H. Macy as Summer Hayes, John Cena as Ricky Stanicky, a.k.a. Rod, Nathan Jones as Big Ben, Deborah Lawrence as Miss Levine, Heather Mitchell as Lena, Jane Butler as Miriam Summer Hayes, Daniel Monks as Keith. And that's it as the main characters. So this movie starts off with three longtime friends. They were kids out on trick-or-treating, wanted to do a prank on somebody's home. Prank went bad. The porch caught on fire. When it escalated, they thought to throw the trail off of the cops was create this name, Ricky Stanicky, and put it on the back of the shirt, as you know, when kids are little, so the parents know who it's their clothing or jackets. They put their name in it. So it threw the cops off while they hid in the bushes, and they knew at that moment that was going to be their new character to create. So they used Ricky Stanicky as the childhood teens, along as when they became adults. They used the name Ricky Stanicky, this imaginary friend that whenever they had to do something, Ricky always had something going on. They could get away from their relationships, marriages, and stuff like that to go entertain Ricky, but they really was off doing their own thing, and they use it a lot of times. So this particular time, JT's wife is pregnant, and she's going to have a baby shower. Meanwhile, the baby's not due for another 6 weeks. So they figure they're going to go to this concert in Atlantic City. Say Ricky was, his cancer came back and they going to have surgery. So they got to go and tend to him. So they did. And of course, they're going to Atlantic City and to this concert afterwards. They at the bar drinking. They run into Rod. Rod is a familiar in a casino. Somehow befriended them to buy him a drink. And when they befriended him to buy a drink, he was basically a hanger-on. He ain't had no friends. So they pretty much was like, hey, man, well, me and the buddies, we going to hang out. And just basically told him to go about his business. So Dean felt bad that they blew him off like that and told him, he apologized, but, for his friend's actions. So Rod pretty much told him, like, it's all good, I understand. And he gave Dean his card. Basically, you never, like, he's a up-and-coming actor. You never know when you're going to need me. Meanwhile, Dean had his phone off, and when they turned his phone on, he got all these messages. Pretty much what happened is JT's wife went into labor 6 weeks before time. And so they made a rush to get back to home. By the time they got there, the baby was already born. And you got both grandmoms from both sides basically looking at, why is JT sitting with his shirt off? And he said he wanted to get the connection with his son, the skin-to-skin connection. And of course, it's comic relief throughout this whole movie. So you're just hearing me tell the storyline of the movie. But it's comic moments all throughout the movie. And also, I wanted to point out that, before we get back into the film, that, shout out to John Cena, coming from wrestling and getting these roles. He's definitely found a lane. And if you like Vacation Friends that I reviewed, so also take a look at the reviews for Vacation Friends if you haven't watched them. It's the same type of character from Vacation Friends. And so he definitely has a lane. I was starting to compare him to The Rock, But I guess The Rock has been on more of a like big picture film stadium than John Cena. So John Cena got more of a comedic relief with his characters that he's been acting on. So I guess that's his lane right now. So the only thing is if he try to go serious, will we take him serious? Because we used to being a funny guy. But I think he likes doing the roles. So nevertheless, back to the film. So once the baby's born, they grade have a an event where the baby is getting pretty much circumcised, and so they say the girlfriends and the grandmas are like, "Hey, yeah, y'all need to invite Ricky since we ain't never seen him. It's the perfect time." They pretty much throwing him off, saying, Ricky, he got a lot of things to do. He ain't gonna be able to show up. They said he ought to, so they created a social media page for Ricky. So, and that social media page is pretty much saying he's free. So now they're stuck with who we're gonna get to play as Ricky. So they come up with all these different people. So Dean comes up with the idea, Rod, and so he calls Rod. They fly him in, and Rod's a drunk, but he did clean his act up for them, and they had this book they called the Bible of their whole life stories about everything Ricky Stanicky was into or did in every event. So he studied the whole book, and when they got to the event, he ended up knocking out of the park. But before he got there, he was with Wes, and Wes' dilemma is he doesn't have a job. He got a book that he's been writing, but the book didn't make any sense. It wasn't authentic, and because Rod, aka Ricky, is a straight shooter, he told him the book was crap. He needed to make something. He's telling them not to give up, but the book is crap, but do something else that's more authentic. So they came up pretty much with an idea that'll work for him. And so he went with that. Meanwhile, when he went with that, they got to the party, an event, and Rod, aka Ricky, knocked it out the park. And during that time, it showed his intelligence by him knowing everything that went on and was able to uh, read the room and talk to everybody. Meanwhile, their boss was there, uh, Mr. Summer Hayes. He was there, and when he talked to him, he was a straight shooter, and pretty much, uh, even though he's rich and everything, he pretty much told him how it was. Of course, the boss liked that because don't nobody step up to him. So after the event was over, they thanked Rod for showing up, but he didn't want to leave, of course, because he don't got no friends. This was a new life for him, so they paid him, and he left. So when they thinking everything was over, they got to work the next day, and they talked to Summer Hayes, and he told them he hired Ricky. And they like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, well, he gave me his card, and I called him that night. He was Gary going on the plane. I stopped him from going on the plane. He came out. We stood up 4 hours. Talking the crap, and I brought him in. And so they thought they was getting rid of Ricky. Now Ricky's working with them, and so he's cleaned up, got a suit and everything. And so they like, yo, you can't do this. This is a game. This is all met up. You don't know nothing about this business. Ricky in his world, he's like, hey, y'all can teach me. This a whole new world, the life for me. I ain't got nothing going in Atlantic City. So nevertheless, from there, they wasn't feeling it. They're thinking we could get him fired because we'll put him out there to dry, and of course they're gonna realize he don't know crap, and they're gonna fire him. But they did put him out there, but he was able to um, navigate and improvise in real time, and he made a good point, and so he sold it. Meanwhile, what took place, he ended up getting this other company that they was trying to merge with. The head boss told him, Summer Hayes told him, you're going to run point on this. So, of course, Dean was the VP. He was upset that he didn't get to run point, and now Ricky was running it. So he pulled Ricky in a storage room and had it out with him one-on-one, pretty much saying, yo, you got to come clean. you know. And then Ricky pretty much told him, like, I can't go back to New Jersey. I don't got no life back there. People after me, and after all, this is your fault because you brought me into this. So Dean's situation, he had a girl. His girl is like a up and coming news reporter, and her big break is the hero of the week. They was going to do Ricky, and she's going to do a whole story on him. And so he was like, this would be damaging for his girl that she doing a story to the world, and the guys that made her fraud the whole time. So what ended up happening at the end, they bought the other company, and they was all going to have an event. And so they put the story through. First, Dean went up and admitted and apologized to everybody that it was a fraud and why he did it and everything. But then what happened was they did put the story through, and what happened is Ricky flipped it. He flipped it like he was down on his luck, and JT West and Dean came and saved his life and gave him a plan to restart his life and created this character for him, giving him a second chance at life. And then the boss, Summer Hayes, seen his talent, hired him, and it's about second chances. And he started talking about the good things of the company. And the other company like rooted that on, like that was a great story, and wanted to do business in a merger with their company. So in the end, it saved uh, all their lives. And the people that was after Rod from Jersey, they just wanted to serve him a cease and desist of him stop doing a cover of one of the Billy Joel's songs. And so that was pretty much the end of the movie. It was a decent movie. Of course, I'm just giving you the overall summary of the movie, but it's a lot of parts that I left out that's comic relief that you could go tune into. So if you looking for something fun to watch, tune into it. On my 4-star rating system, I'm gonna give this movie a 2.5 out of 4 stars. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Till next time.